It all began with Sir Isaac Newton. No, let me take that back. The ancestry of the black hole can actually be traced back much earlier. You could say it began in ancient times, when that distant era's most clever thinkers, the now forgotten Newtons and Einsteins of their day, pondered why our feet stay firmly planted on the ground. That was an obvious question for a budding scholar to ask in that bygone age. Everything centers on gravity. Gravity controls the sweep of the planets around the sun, as well as the fall of a fluttering leaf from an autumnal tree. It is a force we take for granted, but took us centuries to understand. Why is stuff attracted downward, toward the surface of the Earth? More than 2,000 years ago, Aristotle and other ancient philosophers had a ready and reasonable reply to that question. Our planet resided at the very center of the universe, so naturally everything fell toward it. Humans, horses, carts, and buckets were all driven to reside at the prime position. As a consequence, we were sturdily attached to terra firma. It was the natural state of things. This explanation made perfect sense given our daily experience. That is, until Nicholas Copernicus stepped in and dramatically changed the cosmic landscape once and for all. In 1543, the Polish administrative canon dared to assert that Earth was in reality orbiting the Sun with all the other planets. Others, such as Aristarchus of Samos in the 3rd century BCE, had suggested this scheme before, but not until Copernicus introduced his heliocentric universe did it finally take root. As a result, the long-assumed setup that kept us bound to our planet had to be completely re-examined. Earth was no longer at rest in the universe's hub, serenely waiting for objects to rain down upon it. Instead, the Earth was yanked into motion, and the Sun was now at center stage. This new alignment soon motivated some of the greatest minds in Europe to reassess the rules of gravity, as well as the mechanism behind planetary motion. The challenge was on. Inspired by Englishman William Gilbert's claim in 1600 that the Earth was a giant magnet, the German mathematician Johannes Kepler suggested that threads of magnetic force emanating from the Sun were responsible for pushing the planets around. The French philosopher René Descartes in the 1630s, in contrast, imagined that the planets were carried around like leaves trapped within a swirling whirlpool by vortices of ether, the tenuous substance then thought to permeate the universe. All these ideas would eventually be overturned, though, once Isaac Newton in 1687 offered a more rigorous set of rules for both gravity and planetary motion. That was the year he published his masterful Philosophiae Naturalis Principia Mathematica, Mathematical Principles of Natural Philosophy. We know it today as simply the Principia. Newton was 44 years of age at the time, but his new take on gravity had been percolating in his mind long before that. It began in 1665 during the Restoration reign of